Are you a musician? Have you ever dreamed about going out and playing in front of crowds of adoring fans? Maybe you're interested in playing a few shows a month, supplementing your income a little bit, or even maybe more of a full-time thing. Although performing for other people as an entertainer is a little bit different than just playing music for yourself, for your own enjoyment. So a really good question to ask is, am I even the kind of person that should even attempt to do this to begin with? Can I handle this lifestyle? And only you can answer that. So today on Real Working Musician, I'm breaking down the top 3 things, skills, requirements, attributes, if you will. Things I think you really need before even going out and booking gigs. So if you want to learn more and maybe join the conversation, stick around. I'm Riff Johnson, and this is Real Working Musician.
Now 6 breaks of love shouldn't hurt that bad, and 7 fair attempts put your heart on track. I'm driving 80 miles an hour smoking Camel bags, saying catch me if you can.
Hey, welcome back to Real Working Musician, a show dedicated to building musicians' confidence and to help you share your passion with the world, and maybe help you make a part-time or a full-time income while you're doing it. So if that's something that interests you, you might want to hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere here. I'm still new to the YouTube thing, but somewhere there's a subscribe button. Tell your friends and all that kind of thing. Today's episode, we're talking about 3 things that you really need, in my opinion, before you even attempt to try to go out and book gigs and try to live this whole lifestyle. Skill, personality, and drive. Let's get into it. Number 1, skill. I mean, you got to be at a certain level to perform for people. Remember this guy? If I went to a show and saw something like that happen on stage when someone was getting paid to actually perform for people, and unless it was like a comedy thing and I knew the guy was making a joke, I mean, then I'd probably laugh. But if I saw that in real life, something like that, I'd feel bad for one. And then 2, if I was to go to a venue or a bar or a restaurant or something, expecting to hear a really good quality musician or a band, I might second guess even going back again a second time. And that's why you have to be at some kind of a level of professionalism, even though there's way more to entertaining as a whole than just pure talent. So are you good? Like, are you good enough? And I don't mean like how your mom might gush over your talent, your family, your closest family members, people like that.
It's a cool song though. Freaking hot song.
I mean getting feedback from really good friends that'll tell it to your face, and maybe crowd reaction. But you might ask, how am I supposed to get a crowd reaction if I haven't got a gig yet? Good question. There's a couple things here. Like, how often do you play? Like, can you play and sing at the same time? That's a hard thing, man. Not everybody can do it. That's why not everybody's famous. That's not why everybody goes out and tries to make a living as a working musician. And do you even have enough songs prepared to go out and play out for a 3-hour, maybe a 4-hour show? And are those songs good? Like, do you have them down? One thing you might want to do, kind of get your feet wet, is to attend some open mics. I mean, that's probably, in my opinion, one of the best places to start because it gets you out in front of people, for one thing, right? Also, hopefully there's people there, and if there's people that you don't know, if you get a crowd response, if people clap, I mean, open mics kind of like everybody claps, right? But maybe there's some people there you could actually ask them, say, listen, I'm thinking about going out and trying to do this professionally. Can you give me some honest feedback? I think people would probably do that for you, especially if they don't know you. But of course, it's always good to have really good friends that will just tell you to your face. And sometimes you got to hear the truth to work through it, to get to a point where you're really ready. Yes. Okay. So maybe you found out, maybe I'm not really to the point where I need to be before I could actually play 2 to 4 hours in front of people professionally. So my next question would be, are you willing to put in the time to get better? I think better than just, worrying about it and trying to become perfect. I say get to a point where you can get through a certain amount of time that you need to, and then just go out and start doing it. Get better as you go. So yeah, skill's a really important thing in this game, and there's so much more to entertaining that we'll get into later, but for the sake of time, we gotta move on. 2, personality, the kind of person that you are. Like, how are you with people? Have you ever been to Disney and seen how nice, ridiculously nice the employees are?
Couple, Elise. Hello, Elise. Why, hello there, sweet Elise.
Hi there.
Princess Jasmine.
In Aladdin.
All the way over here in Magic Kingdom. I hope you're having a lovely day.
Very nice to meet you. Whatever that is.
I don't think anybody has to get really that extreme, but if you think about it, most people come to a venue, to a restaurant, a bar or something. Typically it's the end of the day. It could be earlier. And people just want to relax, kick back, and they want to have fun. They want to be entertained, and that's a big thing. So if someone was to be given 2 different options, A, the person entertaining is completely quiet, it doesn't talk in between songs, doesn't say anything, but does play quite well. Or B, does a pretty good job playing and singing, but is very engaging with the crowd, very friendly, very personable, talks in between, announces stuff, whatever, gets in and talks to the crowd, and actually helps you have more fun. I'm always gonna go with the latter, unless it's like John Bon Jovi and he's having a bad day. But even on a bad day, John's a pretty cool guy, and I know he works his butt off to entertain people. And I'm not even saying you have to like people or you have to want to interact with people, but if you don't want to interact with people and don't want to talk to people, this might not be the gig for you. Not many people are musicians in this world, but we all seem to love music. So naturally you're going to have people come up to you and want to congratulate you, say, hey man, you're really good. And if you don't respond favorably to them, they're not probably going to be very impressed, and they probably won't come to see you again. So to me, if I'm going somewhere looking to be entertained, the more friendly, nice, and charismatic the person is, the better. Numero 3, drive. I think drive is very important. So what do I mean? What do I mean? People that are self-employed or entrepreneurs, people that don't really follow the typical job lifestyle, it means they have to learn how to do things differently. One thing that really is good about working a regular job for somebody is you know when you got to be to work, you know when you're going to be home, typically. Stuff's already kind of planned out for you, so you don't have to give it too much thought. When you're self-employed or you're trying to be a musician, which by the way, I typically recommend doing both. Work a job where you're kind of stable, and then maybe build up playing gigs on the side. That's always a smart idea. But someone who's self-employed has to really make things happen. You're gonna have to make phone calls, you're gonna have to network, you're gonna have to get to meet people, know people, and that's not gonna happen if you're just hanging out watching Game of Thrones all day. Or playing video games when you really should be out hustling, especially in the beginning. So I'm sure by now I've used up all the time, but I'd like to hear some feedback. Like what do you guys think? Like, I mean, this is the part where you can actually drop a comment, say something below. What do you think are some really important things that someone should think about before they even attempt to be a musician, to go out and actually book gigs? It's a really good question. I guess I never really gave it much thought when I started, but now thinking about it, I probably could have made a lot of shortcuts. Like always, if this is beneficial to you at all, hit that subscribe button, share with your friends, tell some people. I just want to remind everybody, be kind to people. Everybody's at a different level, a different skill level at their playing abilities. So, in the comments, just be encouraging. It's so much more fun than bringing people down, in my opinion. So I'm really excited to hear from you guys. What works for you? If this was helpful at all, spread the word. Get a hold of me, find me on social media, email, all that stuff. I'm so excited to continue this show, and we'll see you next week. Take care, have fun, be loud, make some noise. Alright, we'll see you next time.
Now 6 breaks of love shouldn't hurt that bad, and 7 fairy tens put put your heart on track. I'm driving 80 miles an hour, smoking Camel.